The Governor General can at any time dismiss the Prime Minister of Jamaica and dissolve Parliament. Powerful, right? Welcome back to another episode of The Initiative. I'm your host, Devon Thompson. I'm the Middlesex Vice President of the United Independence Congress. Last week, we looked at Section 70 in the Jamaican Constitution, where it says that whenever the Governor General has occasion to appoint a Prime Minister, he, acting in his discretion, shall appoint the member of the House of Parliament who, in his judgment, is best able to command the confidence of the majority of the members of that House. This also means that the Governor General is not obligated to appoint the leader of a political party to become the Prime Minister of Jamaica. But here's a question. How does the Governor General go about appointing the leader of the opposition? Here's what the Constitution has to say. Whenever the Governor General has occasion to appoint a leader of the opposition, he shall, in his discretion, appoint the member of the House of Representatives who, in his judgment, is best able to command the support of a majority of those members who do not support the government. Or, if there is no such person, the member of that House who, in his judgment, commands the support of the largest single group of such members who are prepared to support one leader. This means that the Governor General does not have to select the leader of the political party that is in opposition. For example, let's say that the United Independence Congress becomes opposition in Jamaica. Joseph Patterson was elected to be the UIC's leader. The Governor General is not obligated to select Joseph Patterson as the leader of the opposition. He could, for example, because I'm a part of the United Independence Congress, who would be the majority in the opposition, he could select me as the leader of the opposition because the Governor General selects the leader who, in his judgment, commands a majority of those who oppose the government. But here's a fun fact. The Constitution actually doesn't recognize political parties. In fact, it doesn't even mention them at all. So whoever the leader of a political party is of no consequence to the Jamaican Constitution. So what do you think? Pause this video and leave a comment. I'll wait. I won't be gone when you get back. So now we have to ask the question, what other powers does the Governor General have? For that, we have to go to Chapter 32, Part 1. And this says, the Governor General shall act in accordance with the advice of the Cabinet or Minister acting under the general authority of the Cabinet in the exercise of his function other than A. Any function which is expressed to be exercisable by him on or in accordance with the recommendation or advice of, or with the concurrence of, or after consultation with any person or authority other than the Cabinet, and B. Any function which is expressed to be exercisable by him in his discretion. So remember that word, discretion, discretion. Part A simply means that the Governor General can act with the support of any authority outside of Cabinet. Such authority could include the Minister or the Queen of England. Part B simply means that whenever the Constitution uses the word discretion, the Governor General can act without permission from any authority inside of government. So now we have to go back to last week's video when we explain that the Governor General appoints the Prime Minister of Jamaica within his discretion. Let's expand on Section 32, Part 1A for a bit. In Section 32, Part 3, it says, where the Governor General is directed to exercise any function after consultation with any person or authority, he shall not be obliged to exercise that function in accordance with the advice of that person or authority. So even if the Governor General under the Constitution is mandated to act in accordance with the recommendation of a person or authority under certain conditions, the Governor General is not obliged to do what he is told. To make things worse, Part 4 goes on to say, where the Governor General is directed to exercise any function in accordance with the recommendation or advice of, or with the concurrence of, or after consultation with, or on the representation of any person or authority, the question whether he has so exercised that function shall not be inquired in any court. This means that the Governor General in this instant is above the law and cannot be taken to court for ignoring instructions or recommendations of people in authority. You can see that the Constitution pulled every word possible to ensure that the Governor General cannot be taken to court. They use the word accordance, recommendation, advice, concurrence, consultation, representation, so that there is no room for mistakes or no room to create our own interpretation of what it says. That means you cannot go around the fact that you cannot take the Governor General to court for this. Now let's get serious. Section 64 Part 1 says, the Governor General may at any time by proclamation published in the Gazette prorogue or dissolve Parliament. But according to Section 65 Part 5, the Governor General must act on the advice of the Prime Minister to do so, provided that the House of Representatives voted for that. But Section 32 Part 3 tells us that the Governor General is not obligated to act on the advice or instructions of the Prime Minister or any other authority. Governor Generals have in the past dismissed prime ministers and dissolved parliament in other countries. In fact, in 1975, the Governor General in Australia dismissed the prime minister and dissolved the country's parliament without the permission of the prime minister and the majority of the House, leading to Australia's greatest constitutional crisis. This is called the Governor General's reserve power, having no obligation to act on the recommendation of the Prime Minister or any other authority, and having the power to act without their recommendation. The Governor General, in the context of what we're discussing today, has two reserve powers: the power to dismiss the Prime Minister or not, and the power to dissolve Parliament or not. So yes, the Governor General can at any time dismiss the Prime Minister of Jamaica and dissolve Parliament. Powerful, right? Speaking of power, the executive authority of Jamaica is vested in Her Majesty, the Queen of England. According to Section 68, Part 2, the executive authority of Jamaica may be exercised on behalf of Her Majesty by the Governor General, either directly or through officers subordinate to him. So not only does the Governor General wield the executive powers of Jamaica, the Governor General's underling, through his authority, wield these powers as well. I'm not a constitutional lawyer. I'm an engineer by profession. But more than that, I am a citizen of Jamaica. It is therefore within my duty as a citizen to understand the Constitution that governs me. If anything that I've said today is incorrect, or if I'm misinterpreting the Constitution in any way, I want to hear about it. Leave your comments below. Let me know if I'm right. And if I'm wrong, tell me why. I want you guys to take action today. Like, follow, subscribe to our page, share this video with all of your friends and family, because the UIC is doing something big. We're doing something amazing. No more talk, we're acting. Thanks for joining me on the initiative on the UIC Liberty TV. The United Independence Congress is a political movement in Jamaica. We depend on our members and our subscribers to keep the lights on. So I can continue to provide these amazing contents to you. Donate to the United Independence Congress today. The link is in the description of this video. Thanks for watching.